I'm going to be talking about history. My name is Rad Falahatpour. I'm a 10th grade student. So, yeah, nice to meet all of you. History, a footprint of all humanitarian stories. So, how does history compare to science? For me, history is kind of like those rose petals that we throw along the way, and we use them to always be able to trace back to home, to see how far we've come, how far we've innovated, how if we've gotten worse, if we've gotten better. Whereas science plays the role of a lantern that we hold up to kind of lead us through the way, through this unknown forest. But yeah, now, how do we talk about data? I feel like with scientific data, it is permanent regardless of how hard you try to get rid of scientific data, whether it be a decade or centuries. It will come back as it initially was. So you cannot get rid of scientific data, regardless of however you try. Whereas historic data is kind of like that very faint footprint on the sand that can be easily washed away with one ocean wave. So, artifacts. What are artifacts? Artifacts are the pure, solid evidence and for historical information and how people lived. They are the physical proof of every historical story we hear. So, ownership. Ownership is a very big deal because whoever owns the items possesses all authority and has the responsibility to protect them. And it's a very big deal. So, who truly owns them? I feel like we own them globally. And by that I mean, you know, you would think that nationalism has a big role in this, but I want to see if it does or doesn't. So I feel like, no, I don't feel like it has any take. I feel like nationalism has nothing to do with this. I feel like we have to look at it at an international scale because, you know, let me give you a great example. The Greek man. So, the Greek man. So let's say there was a Greek man. He made a life-changing, game-changing invention, and what is left of him and his legacy is nothing but his first prototype. So that prototype would be held in a museum as an artifact. And so who owns that artifact? Should it be held in Greece? Should it be owned by all Greek people because it's a part of their nationality? No, I feel like because he was not only the first Greek man to make that invention, but he was also the first man to make that invention. And not only he was the first man to make that invention, he was the first human to make that invention. And as you see, this results in many different realms of identity being considered. So as you see, not even gender plays a role in this. So, yeah, people. So this vast and vibrant community of people that are scattered all over the planet and all connect to these artifacts, all connect to these stories and these different roots of history, they all feel a connection and they all feel like they, you know, somehow own it and claim it. And, you know, they might not be in that specific country. So we have some international organizations like the UNESCO that is responsible for stuff like this, and many other organizations too that are in charge. So I feel like we shouldn't consider nationalities and countries and politics into this. I feel like we should all gather together and protect these physical items and preserve them as best as we can. So that means that, stealing is not good. So I feel like countries and nations like, for example, Britain, they should be prohibited from stealing artifacts and keeping them in their personal national museum. I feel like that is wrong. They should be prohibited from doing that. And history could also be used for advocacy. Advocacy is a very powerful tool. So you can use the past to change the now. And, if I didn't have access to many historical information, I probably wouldn't be this knowledgeable, and I couldn't prove a point at all because I had nothing to say. So thanks to history, I know that it's been centuries that the traditional educational system hasn't been changed, and I would have never known that the educational system was originally designed for factory workers, or that we have fascism or slavery or racism at a very larger impact. So yeah, this also opens many other doors. And yeah, the theory of evolution, so this is a theory. We wouldn't have known this if we didn't trace, everything back to fossils, remains, dead bodies, mummies. We would have never found out. So yeah, thank you. And I also had a friend help me. He presented last year. His name is Parsa Fusande. He helped me with my script, so credits to him. And I forgot to put my contact information, so I'll just say it right here.